Thank you, Chairman Taylor and committee members. I'm E. Ray Moore, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of S.35, or the REACH Act. On August 22nd, 1969, I walked across the stage at Officer Candidate's School in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and received that shiny little gold bar of a second lieutenant. Our class of 40 newly commissioned officers had just taken the oath of office and sworn allegiance to the U.S. Constitution, not to government, not to the President, but to the Constitution itself. And I retired from the U.S. Army Reserve 30 years later as a lieutenant colonel, having served happily and lived under that oath to the Constitution. And I wish that same happy time as I served to be part of the current generation of our university youth. But currently, South Carolina public colleges and universities, except for Coastal Carolina and Lander, are in violation of the current law, which requires 1 full year of instruction in the Declaration, U.S. Constitution, using the Federalist Papers as an interpretive guide. And it's supposed to be required for every public college, university, and high school. And for the last 7 years, the governing boards of trustees and presidents of our universities have been informed on this law. And I was part of that early effort to try to awaken them to the fact that this law is not being carried out. And they have adamantly refused to obey it, using various excuses, mostly lame and empty. My own institution, the Citadel, basically demurred or declined as well. The current law has teeth, and the violators are subject to removal and some sanctions for failure to obey the law, but they have continued to disobey in most cases. 8 states in the United States have a similar law as South Carolina, but we're the only state refusing to implement the law and teach our founding documents to our university youth. There is not a lack of clarity about the law and the requirements, just a stubborn unwillingness to obey the law. To make it easy for university administrators, S.35 has been offered, requiring only 3 credit hours and 1 semester rather than a full year. Also, the loyalty oath has been removed from the original law. Our universities now teach an assortment of courses, some of which can fragment and divide our citizens, such as multiculturalism, women's studies, African American studies, globalism, environmentalism, and on and on. And these many of these do have real merit, but no requirement for our unique American experiment and teaching our founding governing documents. These founding documents are common creed, and they can help bind us together as one people. Members of the House Higher Education Committee, you have a chance to pass S.35, which has dropped the 1-year requirement, replaced by 3 credit hours. Neglect on your part will not lessen the demands and calls to obey the current law. Patience is wearing thin, and some citizens may eventually decide to consider a lawsuit, considering the harm done to thousands of our recent graduates of our public universities and missing out on an essential part of their education. Past President Pastides at USC fought against the current law. Now, with a new president at USC, General Robert Caslen, we have a chance for a new day and a better example by senior USC leaders and others. In summary, my advice is to simply obey the current law or pass S.35. At the end of 1787 Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, one woman asked Delegate Benjamin Franklin, "What kind of government have you given us, Dr. Franklin?" He said, "Madam, a republic, if you can keep it." Ladies and gentlemen of this committee, I don't think we can long keep our republic if our youth do not learn and understand our founding and governing documents that help bind us together as one nation under God. You really have no choice but to obey the current law or pass its replacement. Thank you.
Colonel Moore, thank you very much. Don't leave. Questions from any of the committee members? Well, here. Thank you, sir, very much.
I
I
might
appreciate
add
you.
on, we're hearing about the need to bring in integrate African-American studies, and I think that's fine. I agree with what Dr. Jeffrey had to say, but we need to realize that the documents are for all of our people, and the Declaration of Independence expressly says all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, which mean life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, as Mr. Smith brought out,
By the
that
way,
was
if I
not
may
fulfilled.
interrupt, only because it's appropriate here that we hold these truths to be self-evident,
Right.
that all men are created equal.
Yeah.
They
And
are
that's
endowed
in
by
the
their-
document. It was
Because
not
I
fulfilled.
memorized that,
Yeah.
because I had to memorize that as a high school
That's
student.
our
And you know
charter.
what? Here I is, I'm 73, and I still can repeat it back, and every single word of it. I've done it spontaneously from the stage. It kind of surprises people that you know that, because, you know, about 2/3 of the audience out there thinks that Judge Judy's on the Supreme Court.
And then the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments are in the Constitution, and that freed slaves, gave them citizenship and the right to vote. That's part of what they would be studying. So it's in there, and it includes all of our people, not just, it includes